Vince had brought up a question in the discussion we were having a couple, maybe a week ago or so, and I honestly I couldn't get it out of my head. And essentially, it was him asking if he thought that SIU basically did too much too quickly. He revealed too much through the blog posts and everything, and through Vince is right there. Vince, come in. I'm a hop in Discord. I'll hop in Discord in case you're trying to come in too, cause this is a topic you brought up. So if you're around, let me know. If you're in chat, you're in chat. But yeah, so I asked a question in this video, and I want to go through everyone's replies and see how I thought and felt about it. I kind of skipped a little bit, but I thought it was it was good. I like what you had to say. I think we've gotten to the point, at least with my channel, where people who like and experience Tower of God, I have gotten comfortable criticizing it. Just because you criticize the series, just because you have some issues here and there, and you're not what's happening currently, doesn't make you a bad fan or whatever the case is. So I like that. I found that earlier sometimes if I had criticism, I got a lot of pushback, just blind pushback, almost like a blind faith in slave and eater. Believe. But now I think people are actually trying to have more nuanced conversations about it. So I'm very appreciative of that. So we're gonna get through these comments.
A little something like eeny, meeny, right from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea, pass me the henny. Watch a nigga black slipper yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie, perfume is Fendi. Bob and move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. That's 'cause I'm pretty, came from the dirt. Showing up a nigga can't handle the work. Ooh, y'all, swing with it first. Young white girl like a rambo.
Let's just start. You think you wanted to say first before we started, or are you good?
No. I mean, you already gave me my credit, so I mean, I ain't gotta care about that. But yeah, I really just kind of really thought about it when I was just sitting around. I was like, I was really thinking about it. I was like, did he reveal too much? He's doing it because it's so different now. Like, it's still some of the foundational stuff, but like, I just think people are being willfully ignorant or being obtuse when they act like this series is not completely different the way it's. If you look at season 1 and you look at like it's clearly not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. So, but that's all I got to say. I'm not like overly negative, like trying to punch on this series like I might have been when I was really upset with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, if you're going to tell me that I'm wrong about something, prove it. Explain to me how this stuff works, so I can know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe you're right. But you're gonna have to prove it more than just, oh, this happened because this person is special, or this because of that. Explain to me how it works. How do we get to this point? The mechanics of the situation, the mechanics of the power. If you can't explain most of those things to me, well, then better keep trying till you do, I guess.
Exactly. Okay. We're good then. We'll start with okay, yeah, okay. So it worked. I'm smart. I did it. I'm smart, guys. I did it. I'm so smart. The thing popped up. I don't know. I just click refresh. Refresh OBS. Like, I'm not gonna move it. Move it above me. Okay. But yeah, about an exalted. When you see this, man, that comment was.
You'll really go there. It was one of the most well-written things I've seen on a YouTube comment. At least about this series.
I won't lie. Chromie's those comment had me dying. He's like, cause I'm not gonna get Sumi in trouble. He did nothing wrong. But what he said was so funny to me. But yeah, Chris has said that the thumbnail got me fucking dying for no reason. My level of humor is garbage.
Yeah.
Mo Father just said nice vid. I appreciate. So Lexi Power said, in my opinion, yes. He bit off more than he can chew. He can't even stay healthy to finish TOG. How is he gonna make this huge, expansive TOS universe? I mean, that's dead now, right? Like he can't possibly be thinking about doing that. And now I heard that his health is in jeopardy again. I don't know if it's or not. Vince?
Yeah, that's word on the street. I don't know if that's true either.
Okay.
Though.
I haven't seen any official statement of any sort, so I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just wondering if you heard anything. Sorry, let me where's my chat at? My chat on screen, man. How do I get it back? I'm gonna click refresh again. Did it work? It didn't work. It's okay. First member of the church of the infernal native of the tower. Oh yeah, Ivanka Kubera is aware. Kubera is aware. Is that though? Facts. Obtuse is an insult. We are preaching Ivanka gospel. Are we?
Are we? Yeah, I remember. I remember agreeing to that. She's cool though.
Yeah, I have a problem with her, but nobody told me I was doing this. I need a 24-hour advance warning before I know I gotta do that. You know what I mean?
But yeah, chat. I mean, I've been failing y'all, but eventually y'all will give Vincent on this channel for Kubera too. You know, I got to be my regular part timer, but you know, I've been failing, but I'll get there because I got to go through these books first. So y'all won't see me till around like the end of November, December, and then I'll be there. But we'll be there eventually at some point.
Let's go. When this becomes a Kubera channel, I can't wait. This is a TOG stream. I'm not gonna derail the stream. No way, man. You good, man. It's all webtoons anyway, so it's really not a big deal to me. SIU looking for the stone mask to live forever. You think he's Araki? Araki get younger every year. But yeah, Lexi Power, I agree with you. That TUS stuff gotta be dead. So David said he speaks too damn much on the future events in his blog post. So there's a double-edged sword with that, I would say, Vince. I do think it creates a lot of intrigue, you know? But if you don't follow through when the time comes, you kind of wonder, why did I care so much for so damn long? Because I don't even remember initially, I wasn't really too partial to the blog post, but you guys would talk about it, so I went and really caught myself back up on it, and then I became a fan of them. But as I continued reading the webtoon, I'm like, bro, he this is cooked. He don't care about this. Like it's there's such a discrepancy between what he's saying and what I'm seeing, even within the very same chapter he's talking about, where you can be like, do you remember how so shocked we were when he said that one swing from Bam and the Black Marching on the last station would fucking kill Charlie if it hit him, if it grazed him?
He said he would kill most of the rankers and the people that he was fighting there. Like you have to be a Sharon or Char, whatever her name is, the Ari one. Not the, I don't remember how to pronounce it. I apologize. But anyway, the one with the really cool needle, her.
Oh, Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon.
Ari, she got Ari.
Yeah, you had to be at least her level, from what I kind of remembered, to not be killed by what he was doing.
Yeah.
But that's what the blog post said. Still can't prove that's true or not, but that's what it kind of said.
Yeah, Miles, get relaxed, man. We're gonna be here. I think we'll be here for a while. I think we will. So at least I say at least 2 hours. So no, but well said. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But yeah, David, it's just like, because I remember. Do you remember how I don't even really remember this? We had a long ass conversation of what it even meant to accelerate Shinsu when we learned Erasia couldn't do that. Blog post say something, I can't remember verbatim, something on the lines like it would age them or something to that sort, something to that effect. But we're like, what does it mean to accelerate Shinsu? To go faster? Could you make them age? Like, what does that mean? So through the blog post, it created even more discussion. But you gotta follow through when it comes. When it comes through, man, you gotta come through. So yeah.
Yep, 100%.
I said, cool. Listen to this while doing deliveries. Hey, just be safe, man. So Dura said, I personally don't mind it too much, but I get what you're saying. Can't really. Oh, Nara. Wolf Nara. Remember, watch time people nigh on the road to glory. Be sure to watch. Oh, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Bring a tear to my heart, baby. Already did my guy. Yes. Malik. All right, so Lost Kai said, yeah, me and a friend of mine who stopped reading TOG, oh shit, agreed that SIU was doing too much and should have stayed a little more grounded with the story. Setting things up for an expanded universe isn't bad, but SIU was too heavy-handed. Honestly, it's why my friend stopped reading, because he, on his first read-through, didn't even really read the blog posts, and to him, the blog posts were painting an entirely different story than what we really got, and it destroyed his enjoyment of Tower of God. So sorry for the rant monologue, but yeah, I agree. First of all, that's not a rant monologue. That's a very normal size comment. And I said in the video to be as detailed as you want. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, and I agree with them. I mean, it didn't ruin my entire experience, but I agree with the first chapter, them saying it felt like, you know, what he was saying in the blog post didn't really feel like it was happening quite. Because it's not even all the blog posts. Like, some of the blog posts are fine. It's the ones where he would say things like, oh, you know, Bam is not necessarily the most talented. And we were like, oh, yeah, you know, that kind of made sense. Because at the time, when that came out, it was around the chapter where, you know, our girl in Dorsey, she completed the training faster than Bam and Kun and stuff like that. Even though Bam was doing something slightly a little bit different, but still, she had a natural talent for it. But then you see what's going on now. Like, I mean, like, can we really say that? Can we really say anybody more naturally talented than him? He learns everything off of being hit by it once. He makes up moves that he never did in his training on the spot. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like some ungodly talent to me.
Yeah, I hear you. If that's how you.
So yeah, it just didn't make sense. If you're gonna like this, when you like, it's cool if Bam does that, but if you're gonna do that, just don't tell us that he's not the most talented. Just don't even. I guess I was kind of making this argument on my TL the other day. I don't want to talk too long. We got through all this comment. But one thing I was kind of saying. Oh, okay, I got you.
We are here, man.
But
one
thing I was kind of saying on my TL the other day, like, I don't know this 100% sure because I don't even know if you can classify this at one point as that. But the beginning of Tower God kind of, you'll know what I'm talking about now. The beginning of Tower God kind of reminds me of a hard magic system. It felt like it had a set of rules that had to be applied in use. And now by like after the orders, it felt like it got turned into a soft magic system. And like now it's just kind of make it up as you go. Like, I'll give you an example. You don't know what a hard and soft magic system is. A soft magic system is like Lord of the Rings. A hard magic system is like Nen from Hunter x Hunter. Like,
hard magic systems usually don't go against its own internal consistency and logic. So it adds a set of rules for things to work. You're an enhancer. You do this. You enhance stuff. You know, like, it's very, very structured. And if you have to stack things, it'd be like, oh, this condition must be fulfilled before this condition can be filled. Where a soft magic system, the rules can be broken for a character moment. For example, think of Super Saiyan, right? Goku got angry and extended, you know, beyond the limits of his power. Like, most anime you guys probably watch have a very soft magic system. So
yeah. Yeah, 100%.
SIU.
He's a crazy guy.
Funny lad. Funny lad.
Yeah.
Hit him with his own rhetoric. The Star Destroyer says, it felt like SIUs had ideas he thought would be cool for the story without putting in the work to actually connect them together and make them make sense in the general scope of the story he put in place. And those ideas in the blog post to share with his viewers. Blog posts are fine unless he deals with Bam. Best thing to come out of this is the Bam certified lover meme. I think I need some merch. I need some CBL merch, bro. I want to make some CBL merch. Oh God, I am. We park legally. We're not going nowhere. Hard magic is like redacted. Beginning had more tactics involved in the fights. Well, now it's only tactics in games, and whoever got the biggest spirit bomb, I mean, wins. Oh man, Yak with the gift subs, my guy. I didn't hear this. I didn't hear the thingy. I'm about to refresh.
Yeah, appreciate you, Yak.
My goat. I really appreciate it, man. The support has been crazy. The likes on the last two videos are fucking crazy, y'all. 100 likes almost. I'm like, oh shoot, y'all liking it. I appreciate that. Okay, so I don't inherently like dislike the blog post. I just don't think Miles. I just don't think that it's consistent with what I'm reading a lot of the times. Like, I'll read something, then I will read his interpretation of it. It's his story, so I'm not gonna tell him he's wrong. He drew and wrote it, did he not? And I'll be like, really? Okay. So that's kind of my thing. Like, it's jarring to me sometimes. But I'm like, no, this is not it, bro. You gotta make F White Rice merch too, but that's Simi. That's Simi's thing. You gotta Simi gotta make that when you make the Empire. I can't take that from him. Oh man. Okay. SIU State. Oh wow. Badger says, Enryu when? I forgot he existed until just now. I think I brought him up in the video. Eroding State said how, and I just laughed. That was funny. It wouldn't be a problem. Big Deck says it wouldn't be a problem if what he said was consistent with the webtoon, which it isn't, so it's a problem. Yeah, what did I say?
I wonder how that even happens. Like,
Hmm.
is that like a big mistranslation or like what? Like, because I just, or did he just see it like completely different from how we see it? I don't know. I like it's really kind of jarring to me how different it was at times.
Yeah.
Don't make no sense to me.
Do you ever think that it's a cultural thing or something? You ever think it's cultural differences and how we write stories and our society works and how we perceive things? And Lizard, you're whatever you're doing, going crazy. You mute yourself.
Yeah, mute yourself real quick, Lizard. You got some fan or something, brother. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, like I often wonder about those things. Just like maybe it's like there's something that's happening there where like we're just not seeing the story the same way, and a lot of the fandom seems to just be going along with whatever he does. If that makes sense. So
Yeah, and but I also think it kind of played into what we were talking about the other day, when it's just like he either had ideas and he was thinking that because it's not beyond me because not like we really knew when he wrote the blog post, so it's not beyond me to think that like, oh, maybe he wrote this before he got to this chapter and he's just now dropping it with this blog post, or this is the thoughts he had when he was writing the chapter
fair
and
enough.
then it changed. Like, that's a possibility. So but I don't know, I can't tell you for sure, but we can't rule that out.
Oh, I totally get you. Yeah, Vince can't be able to stuff. SIU ghostwriter the blog post I could think of when he's always drunk. You got a ghostwriter for the blog. Or SIU might just be addicted to capping. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Oh man, I do think culture plays a role to some degree, Miles. For sure, I do. Cause it's like I know from experience, Japan sees a lot of the manga we read so differently. Like if you talk to a lot of North Americans or certain people, they'll be like, "Chopper sucks." You go on the road, people love Chopper. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of funny because we have our Western way of thinking and there's our Eastern way of thinking and things like that. So
they're just so appreciative of like most things, almost like 80% of the time. They're just like, oh, they're just like, I'm just thankful you're even writing this story.
yeah, like just happy to be
We
here.
don't think
Type
like
beat.
that.
We're
Yeah,
like
we not like that over
we're
here,
like
man.
you need to win.
Yeah, yeah. I want the
You made it to the league.
thing
Good for
can
you.
put on
Clap, clap,
paper.
bravo. Get some fucking rings, guy.
Yeah. But we want the greatest thing you could put on paper. I don't want to hear no, oh, my editor made me do this and the fan bit. No. We ain't trying to hear none of that. What is the greatest thing you can put on this piece of paper?
That's a victimhood mentality. Take ability. Hold on. Chopper cool. I'm after proper A. I read Chinese light novel. Which in fantasy, different how you're supposed to digest it and what's okay. Yeah. 100%. Because I engage with a lot of Chinese like storytelling. You're writing a blog post and SC is like, oh, F, I have to change the story. They're too soft when it comes to us Americans. I feel that. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep reading. Oh shoot, I opened the wrong thing. Where was I? Ashley's. I won't ever forgive him for messing up the Bay Road story. It's like the One Piece editors. Just shut the F up and let the story speak for itself. Okay. Powerful. Like the video.
I mean, I won't go out that far, but that is something that really bothers me when it comes to manga in general, because that's something they don't have. Because I was talking about some stuff with like books and manga the other day, but it's just like, when you're writing a book, the only thing you're really fighting most of the time is your editor. If your editor just vehemently disagrees with a decision you're making. And you should listen to your editor, especially if you got a personal relationship with them. They've been with you for multiple years or whatever. Most of the time, they know you, and sometimes they can see things because you need another set of eyes. So, but sometimes I feel like over there in the East, they let too many people have opinions on what they should do with their story. Let too many things influence them because you writing the story the way you want got you here. So, for the most part, I think you should stay true to that, and the only people who should be able to interfere with that is one of your peers. I'm talking about writing, your peers, as somebody if you respect them to that level, or your editor. If it ain't one of those two things, and I don't like how much sometimes that even companies over there can get involved because they don't know what's best. They're just trying to sell a quick buck. They don't their legacy of writing is not on the line. It's weird to say something like that when it comes to writing, but in writing you do have a legacy.
No, you're totally right.
Yeah, so their legacy's not on the line. They're trying to sell a buck.
Like the editor's job is different from the writer's job in a lot of ways, and what their goals are just to bring in the money. Where you might want to be critically acclaimed, respected amongst other things as a writer, artist, creative team, whatever the case is. So I agree with that. Kind of reminds me to some degree like when you think about basketball players and the team doctor. The team doctor has a low key incentive to somewhat greenlight you because the team needs you, especially if you're a star player or the best player. Which is why a lot of them get the second opinion. So I actually think that there's a similar overlap in those two relationships. Like they're on your side, but kind of not. That makes sense. So, well said.
Yep, absolutely.
Well said. Let's keep it moving. But yeah, the Bay Road story again. I think the Immort stuff was way more interesting. But the only reason why, like I said, I let it go because I don't hate the Bay Road, the Baylord brothers thing. I don't hate it. It's not. It's. I don't think conceptually it's more interesting than that. But I don't think it was poorly executed, so I just let it go. It is what it is. I'm not gonna fight reality. So
he asked it early enough, and it wasn't in the canon story.
Mm-hmm.
Like enough information about it that I feel like it should bother you. But yeah, it's one of those things that like you heard the other idea, and you were like, "Well, this was better," but it was just an idea at the end of the day. So like,
precisely. What did you? Yeah, no reason changing out his backstory. I remember reading his blog posts around the Dollar Show, and one of them mentions that he was getting Warriors to tone down some of the darker content. Oh, warnings! I said Warriors. Warnings to tone down some of the dark content in the story. Honestly, that is probably what led to him stripping the original and the downfall in quality all around. I remember mentioning recently, too, that things are not the same as they used to be 10 years ago. It's hard for me to argue for or against any of the like outside interference from editors and fans and things like that because I don't have any concrete official statement being like, yo, they're effing with my story, right? So this is all conjecture. So to me, it's an excuse to some degree, but I understand how complicated their writing process can be, and sometimes things just happen. A character becomes way more popular than you thought they would have been initially, and now you can't really write them out, or you might have to change what role you might have had for them thematically. Those kind of things happen. Writing's not easy, so they're coming from somebody who has published work. It's not easy, so I kind of hear it. Let me see what the chat's saying. Nar said the comment that says One Piece editors. That's how I feel with the cap I see on Twitter. To be is full of cap every day, all day for any reason. Fans who have some say to extent, they do, because at the end of the day, to some degree, the fans are your boss. If they're not buying, they're not buying what you're selling. Yeah, so fair enough. Or the editors don't have enough of a voice, and the writing goes unchecked. That's that Garth Ennis with the boys. They need to tell that man no. Okay. So yeah, editors do have their place though. I'll never forgive people for the backlash of letting Kawaru and Kenshin, I got all that. I feel you. Older editors always cap. They say some hit, or there's like 10 years to get there. That's right. The team doctor cares about the player, but the team is paying the salary. Yeah, so it's a lot. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a conflict of interest a little bit. So yeah, hold up. Published work. Where the plug at? What's the book name? It's not a book. So it's a short story I did for a contest in writer's craft in high school. I have the book somewhere in my room. I do want to read it to you guys one day. I'll find it. I swear. I have a bunch of bins full of a bunch of nonsense. I have to just get it one day. But I have articles though. Go on Geeks of Color, Blurs Online and stuff like that. I have articles. You can find. Just Google my name. Let me see. He told too much too fast and then couldn't deliver, in my opinion. But not his biggest mistake, just a mistake. That's fair. I'm mad at that.
What was I thinking? Okay, I kind of lost the point because I was trying to let you talk. I wasn't trying to interrupt too much. But on the darkness point, I was just gonna say that like a story don't gotta be dark for it to be good.
The
We
tone, the
kind of talk
tone
about
isn't our
that
problem. I
sometimes.
don't think we don't have a problem
Yeah,
with the tone if it's too light or too dark. It's not our problem, anyways.
yeah. I never felt like it's obviously not a happy story, but I never felt like it was like overly dark. And like, how many people like in this story really be having like emotional deaths or even stuff happen? I don't know. It's kind of like half and half for me. But anyway, I don't want to speak too long on every single thing that we do. So go ahead, you can continue on. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that real
No,
quick.
it's a good point. The contrast and difference between the blog and webtoon is too large, so I agree. He said too much and says too much when he should just focus on building the story organically. I agree with that. Let the story speak for itself, you know? Not playing character. For the blog post and the he's been writing this 10 years just gave me the impression that he had a tighter grasp on the story and gave hope that SIU knows what he's doing. So yes, he raised my expectations way too high for what I actually got. Wouldn't be surprised if I spent 10 years writing the story really meant I spent 10 years brainstorming the story. Damn, I feel that. Hold on, Tony said, bro, I figured it out. SIU has TOG finished, but in PowerPoints. If you get to the hell floor, I feel like he started filling it in at his pace. How he writes, how he draws in details. Wow. It is always funny to me that for a lot of people, the floor of death is when they started to really have issues with Tower of God. You remember the whole Urek stuff back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
And why is he
Mm-hmm.
here? He's undermining the arc. He's undercutting the tension. He's bald under the hat. Blah blah blah. Why his fit is trash. It's kind of funny when I think about it. I don't know if y'all are. I don't know how many people are around for that era, that arc. But yeah, east to west reactions. I mostly agree with you because he hyped a lot of things that haven't played out to most expectations he set, especially with the cage and the app. That may be the biggest for me. Other than that, I'm cool with things on the tower's history and the family heads because who knows how much we'll get in the story. I wish he could change the idea of the blog post from factual statements and story points to guides or slight expansions of what's currently going on. Would you prefer that if like he mostly like the blog post chapters would just kind of add a little bit of extra information or something like that?
Yeah,
We didn't read much
like I'd be
fanfic.
cool. I'd be cool. See, a perfect form for the blog post would be like this. Like when he had Bam with the Black March came, Yuri gave him the Black March or whatever, and he's about to use it. If he would have used the blog post to explain how she was making him stronger and how that process worked, I'd be okay with that because maybe he just didn't have the time to fit it in into the narrative at that point. If he used the blog post for that reason, I'd have been cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't really get that, so I don't really like it.
I hear you. I don't care what anyone says. That was amazing. Yeah, tone isn't the problem. It's execution on multiple creative decisions is the problem for me, anyways. Facts. Now you're gonna read his fanfics for us to use. Let's go. Literally, if you literally just type in, I'll just type in the chat. Like, if you type in just blurs online, you're like, you'll find hella articles from me there. 'Cause I have articles all over the place. So, yeah. But well said. I agree. I agree with you. What did I say? We're gonna talk about it. We are talking about it. Scope said, "The more I hear you talking on this topic, the more valid I feel you and Vince's stance on the matter is. Keep up the good work and stay on that content grind. You already know. You already know."
I mean, the thing is, what people don't realize with us, and we've said this in another video before, is at some point, people got to realize that when we make these videos and we be in these discussions, some of it, yes, obviously, if you can't notice, we're obviously playing up some of the points. Because it's supposed to be entertaining for us, and we can't make it entertaining if we don't do a little of that from time to time. But
Just sit
the
here
things we
monotone.
be saying, yeah. The things we be saying half the time, though, are not unreasonable. And we don't have unreasonable expectations. We're not mad when SIU don't do something that didn't go with what we wanted. Like, we don't care about none of that. We just want the story to make sense. That's it. And we want to see certain things explained. That's it. Make it make sense. Explain to me what's going on the paper. Because some fans, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but but some fans are okay with just the author doing anything. Personally, we are a group of people who are not. We're not okay with the author just putting anything on a piece of paper and we're saying, "Oh, thank you, great one." Not us.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna ask, and we're consistent with that. We do that with every series. Now, there's sometimes that happens, and we're just like, okay, you know what? Wasn't the greatest, but we're okay. We're fine with it. He got away with it. We let him slide. Or sometimes we're just like, it was kind of silly, but it was funny, so we'll let it slide. Like we're not unreasonable, but we just gotta make sense, especially when you're playing with this level of where we are in the series. But you gotta think about it. We're dealing with high rankers and stuff now. This stuff gotta make sense. This is like some of the most important part of your series. Like, this is the stuff that people are gonna remember at the end of the day. Like these high points to the end and stuff like that. Because I don't know how far I can't give you how far we are in the series. That's only something he can answer. But this is some of the biggest stuff in the series happening right now. We made a really big jump from fighting regulars to rankers, and now we're fighting high rankers. So this stuff is important, man.
And legendary slayers.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yep. How you doing, Siamese? You good, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I already talked. We're praising CU, CL, CBL. You know what I'm saying?
Certified band lovers. The merch coming, man. The merch is
Yes,
coming.
sir.
You gonna have the damn on his head. I swear to God, it's coming. I swear on everything. I promise. I'm making those shirts, bro.
Gonna talk.
Yeah, baby, yes, sir.
When people ask, "Are you a band fan?" You have to explain. It's like,
And I'll be like, nah. Okay, then. Miles said, I wonder if it's a confidence issue, where SIU isn't confident in his work being able to be engaging for their readers if BAM isn't there. I do remember a couple of blog posts where it seemed to me like he was almost complaining that he had to always have BAM there, or else people didn't like seeing BAM go through adversity. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I don't know if you guys remember what I'm talking about. Where it's almost like he was trying to say that. So maybe in
like
Korea.
he said.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking, like he said, people don't like him when he's not on the screen, right? Like when he's not on the screen, the views aren't the creators or whatever, something like that, right? Because I remember. And yeah,
because I would argue that this is a more Eastern storytelling problem that I would see more often than not, where an author doesn't want to have the focal point from their main character taken away from too often, and from the I have not experienced too many Korean series from an overall standpoint, from novels to TV to cartoons to webtoons to whatever may have you. But one thing that I personally find that they have implemented in most of their stories are two things: beauty, like their beauty standards. Like males are generally more androgynous and dressed with a certain type of style, like the K-pop look. Like that's a big thing. They care about beauty. And the second thing is they really love their main character's power fantasy, like unstoppable MC type beat, like soul leveling and things along that line. Like a lot of these characters are broken in their own right, and I always add this extra caveat. Think about the smut one and Bronhua that we read a lot too. Them MCs be like, if you touch him, your hormones go crazy, and now you want him. Like they're even broken in series that are more about sex, not even fighting. Like there's still a power fantasy. They seem to be addicted to those two things. So maybe just BAM is just another, falling into that type of, Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just a sad thing because like T.O.G is one of the things like one of the series where I benefit from multiple POVs, going to different parts of the world, like different parts of the tower, and seeing what other people are on. But we're stuck with BAM, so which like minimizes both how big the tower, kind of minimizes to me how big the tower feels because we're just always in BAM's point of view. I know we get other points of views as well, like we get, I don't know, some random cut to some high ranker, but we don't really get like a lot of things that we could get if we did multiple points of views. So
yeah, I like what Miles said. I know this, but if this is true, that's crazy, because he said it like in Maggie when the whole arc without the main cast was the lowest sales for the series, I believe. That's a whole cast, so I can somewhat understand that. But I actually remember that. It's just up with Solomon and everything. I want to say Al Turan. I don't remember what the flashback was called, but I remember enjoying the F out of that because it had Hugo and all Solomon and all those people in. Like that was an incredible flashback. Like for me, it was one of the high points of the series. But if this is true, it's like they're like, oh, like where's Aladdin? Where's Alibaba? This is mid. Like bring them back. And honestly, because I still go on, let me say that. But like when I'm Kubera online webtoon, right? One of the things I see every week is like, where's Lise? Because she hasn't been the focal point for a minute. But I'm like, this is great. We're getting so many perspectives and interconnecting storylines because we're focusing on different people at different points. But everything they're doing still ties together and it comes full circle at some point. So, yeah.
That's kind of a strange anomaly too, I guess I would say. Not that people want to see the MC, but the fact that they feel the need that the MC has to take over everything. Because, like, to me, what a lot of things that make a lot of these type of series, especially in the fantasy genre, great, is that we all have characters we can root for, and every different fan bases of particular characters get to eat. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes a lot of these stories great, because it's not just one person. Because I will argue a lot of the time, there's no story that I can think of where everybody's like, you know what? The MC was the only and best part of that story, and that's what made it great. Like, nobody says that. Like, I've never seen a story where that really even happened.
I've never heard
it. You had to have multiple. Yeah, you had to have multiple characters in multiple roles, and not even like they got to be like the most important character, but you just enjoy them on the screen. So it's weird to me that there's such a big thing where like the main character has to be the most important person at all times, and the strongest too. That's another problem. Got to be the strongest person at all times.
Strongest, best looking, most girls, everything.
Somebody, I'm not gonna say said Tower of God is just solo leveling with some Lord world building. I don't know who said that.
I'm not gonna comment on that, but all right.
I didn't say I said it. I didn't say I believe it.
No. That's a very
Whoever
mixed
said
emotion.
that was right.
That's a very mixed emotion statement.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Okay.
Speaking of manga, by the way.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a quick thing like for Magi. It's like My Hero, more recent one. Apparently a lot of Japanese fans didn't like My Villain Academia because it cut away from them, like Deku in them too much. Like there was not too much Deku, which is
Yeah.
another
Like
thing.
Miles said, Asian artists love their MCs. Well, I guess it's extended cast too. I don't know. I love that Deku arc, but it is what it is. Just from season 1, I love that other characters matter in Kubera. Facts. Maybe it's an issue that isn't just interesting enough. If he's going to be around all the time, he needs to be more interesting. I agree with that. I think Bam has a lot of intrigue due to his lineage and the mystery surrounding him, and he's an irregular. But Bam's character itself stopped being interesting a long time ago to me. I don't think it was always that way. But I would argue that the interest for Bam came more so from the mystery of him and what he can and can't do and what an irregular really means, more so than, oh, he's a genuinely interesting personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I'll say it like this. I feel like what's kind of happening, at least right now, with Bam's character, but to me and to you and, a lot of people that follow this channel might feel differently about, is he's doing the morality thing again. And my thing is, it's just kind of like, one, why? And then two, I don't feel like it's particularly effective. Like, Bam's like, oh, it's my fault that the people came with me and my friends are in danger and these people are getting hurt because of me. But I feel like we've been down that road before. We did at the beginning of the season 2. Mm-hmm. That's why he went to F.U.G in the first place. Because he was just like, people were going to be in danger. They threatened my friends, and that's why I did this. And also, he cried when he thought Rack and them died. And, like, we've been through some of this before. And it's like we keep kind of rehashing it and trying to do it in different ways. And it's kind of like, nah.
It's like when I say this. It's like, I don't like when an author or creative team continues to hammer a point when the nail is already in place and holding up the structure. Why are you still hammering on it? Move on. So
Yeah, and this whole thing where White wants him to become corrupted. My thing is, I feel like for if you're going to do a corruption of the MC arc, it literally can't happen overnight, which it feels like he's trying to do right now. Because it's not effective like this. The tension would have had to have been there in story a lot sooner. The best way to me to apply this happening would have been if Bam would have had more conversations around Wagner's team. What happened to them? Where are they? How are they doing? He feels unsettled. Something feels wrong. He was having that inner struggle. Like people are telling him they're good, but he feels like they're not.
I would have taken an Anakin Skywalker prophetic dream. That would have worked for me. Honestly, that would have worked for me.
That would have worked. That would have been effective.
That would have worked.
But it's kind of like he didn't worry about them the entire time. He trained for 2 years without worrying about anything and anybody.
Yeah.
He's not worried about Yiwa right now, and she got kidnapped. Yeah. The only person he worried about was Jing Sung. That's the only thing.
And even that was hard.
And now it's like he's one track, and now it's like he's one track minded again. So fuck Jing Sung, and what's going on with him? Like he Jing Sung's not dead, but like, what if Jing Sung? They were like, hey, we're gonna kill Jing Sung in like 10 minutes. Obviously they didn't do this, but I'm just saying. But what if they did? But now he's like, I gotta fight White right now. like that's why it's not moving. Just me personally.
Unmoved,
not moving
baby.
when you do stuff like this.
Unmoved. My thing is, what is Bam? No, I was saying, what is Bam's personality? Like, I feel it's so bare bones sometimes. Like, I just.
Well, we know he is a person that he's a sponge. His personality is formed over the course of the story, and it changes with the course of the story, just like his powers do.
Yeah.
Bam is just a sponge in general. His personality takes form whatever SIU wants it to be.
Bam
is kind of
just. I'm gonna say this. Hold on. I'm gonna say this. Bam reminds me of your RPG character that you made in a video game. The character just needs to be what it needs to be in the moment. And the reason why it kind of doubly makes sense, and I never get mad at this portion of it, because I actually think Bam in the first 2 seasons for the most part are fine, especially the first one, because he's like this innocent boy in the tower. He don't know nothing. But he has incredible latent talent, potential. We know this. So that's fine. I actually think season 1 Bam is probably the best version. It's sliding into jovial grades because he was like an edgy teenager, if you will. But, well, you know, I made that video. We watched me watch that video already. The growth of jovial grades Bam. So we won't go into that. And by the way, Miles, Bam being your favorite character is not an issue. Like, that's fine. Even though I'm glad you admit that this iteration of him is the worst. But yeah, Bam feels like that blank slate character, because usually in an RPG in a video game, when you're playing, a lot of the times I would argue your character either doesn't know anything or has like some type of amnesia. So you, the player, learn along with the character. Bam is in a lot of ways an Isekai character that was displaced from wherever he was on the outside of the tower to the cave into there. So we kind of learn things alongside with Bam. He don't know Shinsu. We're like, what are they talking about? We don't know Maxethian. What the hell's a pocket? Like, we learn these things with him. So I think he comes across as a lot more bland, blank slate. You can kind of imprint on him as a result of that. But I don't think it works for a story like this. I don't think it works after a while. I think at some point Bam had to have some type of personality. The big thing I can say about Bam is that he's kind of a gentle, nice boy. That's really it. You know? He doesn't really want to be out here fighting and murdering. But that's really the most I can really say about him. Like, yeah, he's a nice kid. That's all I got.
Yeah, and SIU could do a better job sometimes. Like, sometimes he'll talk about Bam's attributes through other people, which is fine because every author does that. But I feel like he could at times do a better job of doing it in the small things. He'll do it in the big moments. Like when you see Bam have a conversation on his emotions and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna lie and act like it doesn't happen. But I feel like when you have a strong character that's strong in their personality, you can see it in every decision they make. Like even no matter how small the interaction is, you see their personality. Like they talk to people like this because they're like this. and Bam is kind of like he's not multifaceted because that's the wrong word. Because that'd actually be a good thing. It's kind of like I said, he's kind of like he is what he needs to be, whatever the arc tells him to be at that time.
I have
The
another
arc is
example
like,
that I think that might make sense, but I'll wait till you're done.
oh, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I agree with the comment. Last point, I agree with the comment that was like in the chat. That was like to me, Bam peaked at the data floor with the Jihad fight. That was my favorite, like self-awareness.
Two self mode.
Yeah.
Incredible. What do you think about making White take the souls back? Although that won't happen, put his ass in a coma, let everyone kick up and debuff this nigga permanently due to the whiplash. This is what I want to happen. No, it won't, but it'll be nice to see. I actually don't even like that, to be honest. I don't even want that to happen, I'll be honest with you. We focus on other characters. I think Bam peaked in the other half fight, but I see your point. Water Jelly, you should have been the MC. Yeah, Water Jelly was so crazy. You see how he blocked that train entrance? No one was getting in, bro. No one was getting in. Water Jelly.
Go.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, man. I want to piggyback off something Vince. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Bam also reminds me of Hibari Kyoya from Reborn. And here's why I say that. Hibari doesn't have a thematic role in Reborn. He serves whatever role a character needs him to serve in that moment. But he does have a baseline personality. He is the disciplining committee of his school. And coming, well, sorry, that's his first. I almost said he was becoming a cop, but I forgot that was actually the first Wogola version or whatever. Anyways, right? But if you actually look at what Hibari's role is in any given moment, it absolutely is totally random. You never effing know how she's going to utilize him. But the thing that she has is that he's very fucking strong. He likes to fight and likes to fight strong people, and his personality is kind of cold and bitter and like Kami Kuroso type beat. So I would when I was reading Reborn, I asked him like, you know what? In a lot of ways, him and Bam have some overlap. Not that they're similar, but there's some overlap. Because I do think some authors have characters who have that chameleon role, so they can, okay, whatever I need you to do, you can do. Like how people will say Superman is always as strong as he needs to be. But really, he's just tempering his strength depending on who he's fighting. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not saying they're the same character or similar. I'm just saying that like they could fulfill any role as a result of how the author is using them. There's overlap, but they're not the same. Like Hibari is
one more thing on this topic. I would even argue to the point that Bam. Now, this is not even necessarily a bad thing, so don't even nobody even take it as a bad thing. You could kind of take it that Bam is a puppet to the story because he does kind of put that in the story. Bam is a product, and hopefully there goes to a point where he realized this and he takes more action for himself. Bam is a product of whatever other people want him to do, kinda, as this story is aligned. He went up the tower for Rachel, then he's doing what F.U.G wants, and now he's doing what
Bam
Machini
is
or
reactive,
even
not
Jihad.
proactive.
Yeah, and now he's doing what Machini or Jihad wants, because there's a comment that was like, "Oh, I hope Machini Machini's not stepping in this. This is exactly what you want."
It's like kind of like how Sasuke is always being told what to do in the original run of Naruto. Like, oh, your brother did this. Okay, so all right, now we'll go become Hokage. You know, like he never really takes agency of his own life to that degree. He's always reacting to something. So I kind of hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the last thing I got to say on the topic.
Yeah, I forgot that we had to read comments. Alright, so Shady said, there's some good points there. Some? you better come with some fire if you say some. I'm joking. I'm not really. I feel that the blog posts were more of a web novel versus light novel situation. With a web novel is the initial thoughts and the intentions of the author, while the novel is refined by an editor and gives the author a second chance to review and see things differently. So yeah, it's best not to take the blog posts as strictly canon, as they are not set in stone. Slave and Utero may set them in stone later in the series, but it's just his thoughts, not his art. And as for Evankel, I think her rating as 60th truly It was truly due to her being a floor guardian. We don't know what buffs and agreements she had with the admin that made her warrant a 60th ranking. Remember, Elaine was a type of floor ruler, and anyone that attacked her outside of a proper, I think you meant to say duke, was eliminated by the administrator. Meaning probably even a doorway would be eliminated if she attacked Elaine. Okay, that's not it's crazy now. A doorway attacking a, come on, man. Elaine, as she was. So for being a floor ruler can be really OP depending on their arrangement, but in the long run we have to wait and see what his SIU keeps canon from the blog post and what he dumps. I don't want to mistake people thinking that like I'm just speaking about the blog post solely, because I was saying even in the video and as early as a couple first chapters, he name dropped a lot of extremely strong characters we haven't even really seen yet. Like it said that Enryu can create life. Like we have gotten those statements as early as season 1, so don't let that be lost. Like I was speaking to that too. The blog post isn't necessarily strictly canon. I understand that, but there's certain things that he has said that you think, oh yeah, this makes sense. It's consistent until it's not. And then when the chapter, what he's explaining in his blog post about the chapter, what you're reading has a kind of like what? I don't know. I don't see that. So keep that in mind. I'll speak on the Evankel real thing because I forgot I brought that up. People had a problem with Evankel being 60 because they thought that obviously in hindsight was compressed and all these things, right? I agree with you. I always tell people when it comes to Tower of God rankings, as much as we want to kind of only focus on power, it's power, influence, and recognition. You can't lose that. So I do agree her floor ruler role helped her elevate her to 60. I totally agree with that there. But for anyone who was kind of disappointed initially with what she did from a combat standpoint, and I'm actually kind of in that camp. I think I first felt that way when he asked Ratchet was like, this ain't the Eon family flame, whatever. And then, I'm like, oh man, is she really that raw? So even I had moments like that. I don't dislike Evankel. I like her. I think she's OP, very strong, but I don't think you're crazy if you had any type of doubts at some point on her. Anyone to chime in? How's rambling?
Nah, I don't really have anything to add on this particular.
Yeah.
What about the web novel versus light novel situation?
I don't know enough about those things to comment on, to be honest. I've never read one. Either one.
I've read both, but I can't really think about there's no instance of me knowing that one was the other. It was originally a web novel, then turned into a light novel, I guess. At least I'm not aware of that. Because I'm a Monogatari stan. That's light novel territory, but I don't know. When I saw Bam, I always kind of saw Alan Walker in some ways from D Gray Man. Go into detail on that. Go into detail on that. The cognac kid, I see. Chill. At least with Enryu, it said it in the story. Fair enough. Which is worse, SIU blog posts or Oda's SBSs? I don't remember having a problem with the SBS for Oda. It's the Viver cards that I can't freaking stand. I don't remember Oda really doing too many things to greet us in the SBS. I'd have to think about that, though. I think I'm going with the blog post. Shout out to Oda. Ivanka, everyone shook when she appeared in the last station. Now no one is scared. It's annoying. I lean that way, too. Our viewer cards were there, too. Everyone besides Kallavan, he built different. Fair enough. The viewer cards are not it either. Yeah, Essence of Mid. Good job, JDB. Good job. Good comment, JDB. I always like seeing your comments. Omar said, I do agree. The world building on an imaginative, theoretical level he's set up is great, but we way too far in, and it's only tip of the iceberg when it comes to exploring it all, despite being 500 chapters in. Blog posts are the reason. It would be like if Oda told us in SBSs about Conqueror's Hockey being weaponized, Shanks, Kaido, etc. during the East Blue saga. Wow, a lot of SBS comparison in this last minute. Leave my guy Oda alone. Leave him alone. Marcat said he likely didn't tend more than he chew and is unable to adapt the story. Is the problem, especially in that format changed drastically from the start as a mystery-ridden series. Pat said His biggest mistake was having relevant story elements that aren't introduced within the story, i.e., blog post. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it's your turn, Miles. My guy. I don't think. Ooh, it's the big chungus. Let's go. I don't think his issue is showing too much, but not being able to keep, or better yet, choosing not to keep up with what he's telling. So his use of Pobedao is actually perfect. He isn't in more than 3 chapters, but his weight and actions literally shift to what happened in the story. Same with Jihad in the last floor. Even Enri was used well, and I think all 3 match what was being told in the blog post before. The issue stems more so from the use of Haigh-Rankers and rankers in general. We get things like White may have been stopped by his sister, ranked 36th, or multiple princesses, but his presence and power are his presence and power reflected of that. Urek potentially beat Arya Han on floor 100, so Bam is supposed to do that, even though Urek has been shown to be a far faster learner and stronger even when young. Slayer Karaka was said to have done so much secret stuff to climb the tower, and we get some of his cunning with how he dealt with Doom. But we need more. Evan Keltami is fine. She hasn't lost a fight and was restricted by a literal guardian. If people have ranks, let those ranks matter. Every single ranker has gone through all 134 floors. That is a major feat. All rankers would have moves, weapons that affect regulars. Even if they aren't smart like Kunar's ship, their experience, the experience part, should make up for it like Cha. Even rankers should have a certain level of respect and wariness to each other. They all have been through God knows what experiences. Only those in the top 50 shouldn't care about anyone else, in my opinion. For the love of God, let ranks matter. Give them and don't just say high ranker. High ranker literally goes from 1 to 1,000. One high ranker and another. One high ranker, one shot another. Don't give arbitrary ranks just so that we don't try to guess how the matchups happen. Influence matters, so it'll be fine. Like, even if Evan is top 100, I guarantee Yuri would still kill him. And I think we all think that with Yuri and Evan. We know it's his Silver Dwarf guide ability, being a bit of a weapon merchant, that gets him up there. And with Bam, you want an OP main character. Main character. Show me why at least. Show me how these irregulars are really different. Give baselines of what they did on certain floors, and have Bam try to measure up. Is Bam getting all these powers so he can barely match Jihad when he reaches 134? Is it gonna be a wash when he moves up more? Do all our regulars have equal amounts of abilities? We don't know everything Bam does, so just seems extra and unfair. I don't want to rant too much. So all I think is more inverse issues rather than outside info. Okay. Lots of
that was long, so
yeah.
I had to make sure I break it up. But I think I got what he was saying, though. This is something I kind of brought up a long time ago, and I didn't have the proper point because I was just so angry at the time. I couldn't properly articulate everything that I was feeling when it happened. But one thing for me that I always said is I wish Bam would have lost to Charlie, and not because I needed Bam to be dead. I didn't need Charlie to actually, see, when I say beat, sometimes it's enough. Like, for example, like Bam got saved by the attack that got saved by White Noise. He didn't get hit by White, let's say. But it would have been cool if Bam would have acknowledged, like, hey, if I would have got hit with that, I could have been, like, killed or something like that. And the reason to me something like that is so important for a series, because that would have told Bam he had a wall to overcome. That was the strength of a ranker, or that is what a ranker's like. Because it's not always about raw strength too, and that's kind of what SIU says sometimes. But I feel like he doesn't do a great enough job of showing.
I remember him using a baseball analogy of various pitches to describe something at one point during that. But sorry, keep going. Let me cut you off.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Great point to bring that up, because I wouldn't remember something like that. But like Bam obviously has way more destructive power than most people he meets because of multitude of reasons. Him fitting outside the rules, him having just a large Shinsu just seems like of just ability to control it, him being irregular, like all that. But I think the aspect that made Tower God so interesting is that strength is not the only thing that should have mattered in these fights. It should have been like the Helljo thing was a good example because terrain mattered. You're on his floor. So that was a problem. And with the rankers and high rankers, their abilities themselves and how weird and how unique you because every time we meet somebody, one of the great things about Tower Guys, everybody shouldn't be having the same powers. Everybody has something very unique to them. And how Bam has to realize how to deal with that and how he should have to adjust his skills and his experience of dealing with people with different powers and different Shitsu abilities is something that should be a part of be him learning to fight rankers. He's just overpowering everybody. Nothing they do matters. So even if they have an attack, Bam can just cancel it because he's Bam. And like cool and all, like it's cool because there's big explosions on the page and big bombs and really cool pretty drawings and all that is true. But it would have meant more if you knew that the fights were tricky, that they meant something. And I just don't feel like they do. And that's the problem when it comes to that. Or I rather not that they don't mean something. Let me rephrase that so y'all don't get it twisted. They mean something, but they could have meant so much more in a lot of ways.
My thing to add to that, I don't know if it's just me and like this is a minor thing, but using unique powers, which I agree with, it's just sometimes it feels like Bam's. I mean, it's part of his power and it's just a minor thing, but sometimes I feel like Bam being able to use everybody else's power or absorb it kind of diminishes the uniqueness of things, which I know if that's just me about that, but yeah, I agree with most of what you said. Well, yeah. Because, the uniqueness about it, yeah.
I agree. That was well said, Vince. And Miles, what you said about Alan Walker? I get what you're saying. Bam doesn't face enough meaningful opposition. The only time he faced meaningful conflict when Rachel is around. That's actually true. Like, I always feel like with Rachel, that's when he he gets packed every time, even though she's not stronger than him. So that kind of makes me laugh. But I always found it like. I know I've brought this up. I know I've brought this up many times. Hold on. I feel Invincible is a good showing of the MC gets work sometimes. They can lose fights and it's okay to let Bam lose them. Oh, I don't don't want to say anything too much. I don't know if you're talking about this show or the actual comic book, but it's not a bad because Mark is very, very powerful as a half Viltrum. But I'm not gonna go too. I want you guys to watch the show and read it, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah, with that though. Oh, go ahead. You have something to say. Never mind.
Okay, I'm just saying real quick. Didn't anybody find it pretty weird and jarring that okay, you read it? Okay, good. That like the first person to really call Bam weak was Kallavan of all people. Kallavan said that to him. Like, okay, like it wasn't that some A rank regular, someone on his level or whatever. It was one of the strongest people who leads up entire squadron of the fucking King of the Tower. And I always say that's like me being like, yeah, like I'm a pretty good high school player, gonna go to college, and Kobe's like, you're trash. It's Kobe. Like what? That doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean anything. It's a nothing statement. Like goddamn Kobe Bryant. Like I don't know. That moment bothers me. The fact that the first person to look at Batman like Jin-Sung came. If you like, bro, you're Kallavan. You're a monster in your own right, blessed by Shinsu. Like, I think it would have been so much more impactful if, like, I say Levi was actually cold, and he's like, "You're weak, nigga. Pack it up, bro." That would have meant so much more. But he was a fraud.
See, even to add to it, it's not even necessarily that somebody had to say Bam is weak. If they could have said like Bam is inexperienced, you don't know what you're doing out here. Like stuff like that. Because like I said, it's actually fine to me because y'all always make the point he's an irregular. It's fine if Bam has the destructive capabilities to destroy most people he's fighting. That is never an issue for me especially not at this point. I don't care that he has the ability to beat the people he's fighting strength wise. But SIU himself has alluded to this, that one thing that makes rankers and all these high rankers unique is that these people have been in the tower for thousands of years. Shouldn't they be well equipped to fight somebody that is stronger than them and stuff like that?
I agree.
Like, because it doesn't always match the thing. For as strong as Bam is, sometimes too, what his enemies and what the people he deals with don't really match that thinking. For somebody who's so special, who's such an irregular, who's such an anomaly in the tower, everybody like looks at him like he's not special till he does a whole bunch of shit. And
he's just a C rank regular.
Yeah, like their first initial thought of him is that he's nothing different, and that doesn't make much sense to me for how long he's been here, all the trouble his group has caused, and they still look at him like he doesn't matter. Like they should just be like, oh, that kid has some crazy powers, but he don't know what he's doing, or he can't hit me with them, or stuff like that. Like, it's cool that like you have the ability to make like 80,000 bangs, but how that gonna help you? You can't hit me. Yeah. Or if I have this unique ability that deals with you in this way, or I'm throwing illusions at you. But I'm just saying, there's ways that SIU could have did this to make Bam struggle without ever having to see him lose. You never have to see Bam on the ground, honestly, unless he's fighting somebody way above his pay grade. I'm not asking for that when he does something like that. You never have to see Bam hit the ground. You have to see him struggle. That's different.
Yeah.
Vince, yeah, I agree with your thing, because like there's so many times, like, I get it when they're climbing the tower, he's not well known, but nowadays, like, I feel like after the last station, everybody should know who Bam is. Like, they should at least know that, like, Bam's existence. And then especially after he didn't they literally like broadcast him becoming a ranker all over the world, like over all of the tower, right? So like I feel like these people should be like, you know, should be at least be wary. Like, they shouldn't always just be the same thing of where they take him lightly, he beats him up, and then they like, you know, they say, oh, how could he do this, as if he hasn't been stated multiple times that he's a ranker.
I think I have a good way to frame this, if that makes sense, right? Because I think our problem with that is like, okay, for whatever reason, because his irregular shenanigans, whatever his destructive capabilities, DC, whenever he's somehow stronger than you when it could hurt you, but you have no other way or ability to deal with him. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you're supposed to be this experience, you have fought from Shinsu that's like air to Shinsu that's supposed to be like water, because the density increases as you go up. It acts more and more like a liquid. There's so many things you should have experienced as a ranker, right? I am a soccer player. I'm not a basketball player. My basketball skills stopped developing in like 2006. Okay? It's only this summer for the first time I'm trying to shoot threes. I'm trying to do step backs and all kinds of shit. I did not grow up doing that. If I did a step back three back in the day, my ass would have got benched. I was a post merchant, a post up, back to the basket, hit you with some mid range. The kids that I play against like this summer are way better and way more talented than I ever was at like 14, 15, and 16. But you know what there still are? Fucking kids. They're not strong. I'm a grown-ass man. I will bully these little niggas in the fucking post. They can't stop me. They're way better than me. I can't do half the shit they're doing. But they can't fucking stop me because I'm bigger, stronger, and faster. I have a way to deal with their skill set because of the experience that I live. I think I'm old, but I'm 28. And I'm bodying a 16-year-old. I don't necessarily feel great about it, but I'm like, you're too little. Or you're tall. You got no fucking muscle on you, you little ass nigga. You got baby strength. I got grown man strength. Why don't none of these rankers have something like that? Okay, his destructive ability is sick, but I have this one weapon just in case so I can read. None of that. None. Just like, oh shit, bam. Oh god, what do I do? Oh god, oh jeez, oh boy.
Rank regular do this. Whoa.
Like that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not even nice at basketball, by the way. I'm just saying. That's my point. Like, because I see them dribbling, they're going, doing all this shit, step back three, launch it, and it goes in. I'm like, I can't do that today.
and before you push back on any of these points that we're making in this video, really think about some of your favorite shonen and some of your favorite stories with powerful MCs and stuff like that, and really think about what they had to go through or what they had to overcome. Like, 'cause sometimes I feel like people just act like, oh, you just, but like, really think about some of the stuff that y'all enjoy the most and some of the things that you like. We're not creating these ideas out of thin air. They have been executed with rules before. And that's the thing that frustrates me sometimes. Where people just like, well, what do y'all expect? Like, we've seen these things before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the first time we've complained about some of these things in other series. Like like Nai's complained about things with DBZ, for example. That's an easy magic system, and that's pretty straightforward. But like that don't mean that everything it did was correct and stuff of that nature. These are not new ideas and concepts that we're making up. And
Yeah.
these are not new ideas and new things that we're critiquing too. And that doesn't mean that SIU, everything he did was bad either. Not every decision, all of this stuff was just like pure trash. Like fucking monkey, this sucks.
My
Like no.
problems start in the last station. Otherwise, I'm pretty good up until
Yeah,
that point.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, the majority of the story is good to me, you know? But yeah. Naya did say bullying is necessary. Yeah. You gotta bully sometimes. I soccer as well. I like soccer. A lot of kids love to do extra step overs, and I'm like, do a move with a purpose. If you do a step over to the right, and I bite, just go left. Why would you do another step over? Like, it's things like that. Like, you're talented, but you're still stupid as hell. I'm knowledgeable because of my experience and what I've gone through, and I use that to my advantage. Okay? So, I would like more rankers how to do things of that nature, but all these points in the conversation are well taken. So, but let's keep going, because I gotta read these comments, bro.
No, it's good. It's good because we really broke into like some. But
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
good. It's good conversation. But yeah,
Yeah,
this was
no.
really a promise.
Wait,
That just means it's good, right? Good conversation.
they said I'm muted. What? Hello? Hi. Why am I muted, bro? Wait, Vince, say something? Vince.
Hello. Who's muted? Why we muted?
Okay, yeah. You tripped me out. Cause I'm looking at my OBS. Like, wait, everything's reacting. What happened? I thought I hit mute by accident. Okay, hold on. The Magnificent said he
No,
should
no,
have.
I'm hitting mute. I'm walking to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back.
Okay, you're not muted. He said he's black. The Magnificent said he should have written a web novel to tell his story. Then had that converted into a webtoon, he probably would have gotten more of his ideas out with his ongoing health issues. I don't know how much of the story he wanted to write actually come to life. Side note, check out Marshall Peak on your time off. I'll write it down. Marshall Peak.
Marshall.
Marshall Peak.
The
Read.
Chinese web novel to be going.
Cultivation. You tell me not to read that shit. Hashtag a viewer. Oh my god. I completely agree with each point you made. Yes. Shit, I lost. I agree with each point you made, but I can't deny how much interesting story became because of blog posts. Right now, Tower God feels a bit off. It could be anything, but for me, it's definitely hiatus between the season. It's terrible from a story point of view, and translation dialogue does not give any impact. I do think the hiatus killed a lot of the hype and the momentum it had going in the second part of the war with Kallavan and everything. But I don't think it's like an excuse for a lot of stuff that's happening, if that makes sense. So yeah. You could start a story. I thought I messed up. I thought I hit the mute button. You good? Don't worry about it, man. Martial Peak is mid. Cultivation novels in general are fire though. Half the novels, not the manhue. Fair enough, man. You know China's the best country in the world, baby. So I'm here for that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I salute. I salute. That's my country. Yes, sir.
Pro China stream. Let's go.
Shido Kage, White Shadow says, for the blog post, they was not supposed to be revealed to everyone, only to a small group of Korean fan. So they have So they are like non-canon lore, like the info of Yama that he changed a lot. And for the rest, I don't really think SIU tell us a lot of the story. There are so many things that we don't know about the Janice? What? Genesis? You think it means Genesis? You think it means the age of Genesis? Or Zahard and the great warriors climbing the tower. In my opinion, we are still below 50% of the story.
Genesis. Yeah, he meant Genesis. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, the thing about it being like non-canon lore is just why though? What's the point of putting non-canon lore into something?
I don't know. I would choose my like if I'm gonna give myself extra work by having a blog post to kind of supplement my story. I'm gonna make sure the information in it is meaningful. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just write a bunch of stuff to write a bunch of stuff, but you know.
I'm that's like I feel that, but I mean I almost think the opposite in that like if he's gonna accept you, this is probably not gonna be the story or not gonna be important, or like I might change it. Why put such important information like Yama's whole backstory into that thing, and then just end up changing it? Because if you're gonna like if he knows I might not use this, just put minor things like I don't know, you're dating a girl and like 50 years ago. I don't know, something like that. You know,
I honestly think if he was just honest about it, it'd be fine. Like, hey, I have this idea, but whether or not it gets implemented, you know, I don't know yet. I'd be okay with that. Like, okay, cool. He's thinking about this. Because, like, great example. Phantom Minim. He said Phantom Minim might not be seen again in the story, and we'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, so that lets us know, like, if he's in it, okay, he decided like, to do it. If not, he decided against it. Milios, what's up? I was watching y'all for a little bit, man. With what you're doing with Bonehead, I was there for like 20 minutes, man. What's up though? If you're not, you can hop in, brother. By the way, man said SIU not giving Fanon off top of canon. Just stop. We have seen nothing from Liborg. Do we think Kallavan can beat Liborg? I don't. I actually have been thinking about this for a long time. I don't want to rule my video, but I do think it's going to be a battle. But what this is
straight up one-on-one.
This is what interests me. Do you think Liborg is almost a perfect hybrid between his two families? Do you think he kind of adopts no traits from either, or do you think he's like more Paul Badao or more Kun? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what makes him interesting. Like, what do you think? What do you think he adopted from the two great families he's from? But I'm a Kallavan stan. Diamonds on my forehead, diamonds on my wrist. Yeah, so I gotta go with Kallavan because I'm a Kallavan guy. But
Kallavan. You know what I'm saying? This fight could literally be a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. Liborg might fight Kallavan, and he might look at him, and he's like, Kallavan, I know you're stronger than me, dude. Like you could punch through me or whatever. But I'm gonna just wear you down with tricks and dirty tactics and all shit of the trade, and that's what I expect personally. Like I think Kallavan is out there for a long day, but it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm just one-on-one fighting you like he did with Jing Sung. It's not gonna be that type of fight for him if they do end up fighting.
You said wash. Liborg is a W. We'll see, man. Okay, sorry. I see you go. With that, we last. Judo Kage. Like you, I never thought about until you mentioned it in your chapter live reaction video, and since I've been in arrangement, since then I've been in arrangement. Plus, the dude himself said he's scrapping stuff, isn't he? I think SIU did say he's certain things he's not going to be using anymore. So it is what it is, you know.
That Princess War, man. Telling y'all.
It's
all right.
What's that video you used to always post, man? We made it up. It's fiction.
Yeah.
It's fabricated. It's not real.
that Princess War not happening.
Send me the invite. Hold on. I'm gonna add you on Discord. Actually, hold on. If you're on my are you my Discord, Milios? Literally, just join a voice chat and I'll drag you in. Just join the voice chat. Personally, I believe he did know what he was doing, but because of his health deteriorating, he just canceled on expanding TOG, as it will only ask for more of his time and effort. Cop out. Cop out answer. Say it with your chest. Oh, Phantom Boss had a lot to say. Sorry, just give me a moment. Let me just there he is. My guy. He right there. I gotta unmute him. I gotta do that again. There we go. You can speak. What's up? He should be unmuted. He should be unmuted now.
Oh, I'm had myself muted.
How you doing, brother?
I'm alright. I just want to say, my Borg is going clap Kallavan.
I don't want to see that. I'm not trying to hear that right now, man.
I know what you're not trying to hear. I know what you're not trying to see. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
As long as everyone knows a man about to pack what? You about to pack that nigga? I'm good. Oh shoot! How was the end of the stream of you were doing? I didn't catch the end.
Oh, that dream was dope.
All right, I like Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm a huge fan. All right, but you know what we're doing?
I take it going through. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I just top it up in here. But I take it you going through the comment section and like there's a bunch of people that because this is probably like one of your talks where you're talking about like some of the things that was changed and something else, right?
So basically, Vince brought up a point maybe a couple of streams ago where he said, "Do I think that SIU tried to do too much too quickly? Did he tell us too much too fast through the blog post, through very early mentionings of things like NRU being able to create life? Like he was almost overzealous because he tried to create the TOS universe. Tower of God's supposed to be one story in this expansive universe he's creating. Phantom Minimum is not a Tower of God character, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I asked everybody if he think that maybe he tried to bite off more than he can chew. So we're going through those comments right now.
I would say, speaking as a person who read through the entire manhwa first before I even touched the blog post, I would say that he introduced a lot of concepts in the beginning that either were poorly executed, like later on down the line, or they feel like they were forgotten. I think his only major slip up was basically he created like the Mad Dogs through the process of having like the strongest one fight in like the cage matches and all that. But he showed it a little bit, but it wasn't like what he explained in the workshop battle. I would say that would be like his main issue. And then like with like a lot of the different characters that he introduced, a lot of different plot lines, it felt like he forgot about them. Like I think I wrote something about this like in your last stream, like a Knack storyline.
Yeah.
Like it feels like he completely forgot about her. Like she don't even exist anymore. Half Princess who? Not a Knack.
I'm suffering, bro. That's one of my favorite characters.
It feels like he forgot about like basically the princesses a little bit, in my opinion, because it feels like he's using Mashini in a completely different way than what he was trying to use her, like during the Hell Train arc. Where in the Hell Train arc, he was creating like this situation or this scenario where like Mashini and Yuri were basically going to be in conflict with each other, along with like Maria and a few other princesses like Shilia and Lilia, and Mashini had Endorsi and a Knack.
Yeah.
He ain't really do nothing with that after that. He was just like, bam. Like what?
He's literally. So Bam? Did you ask for more 25th? 25th
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even like Bam like that as a main character. I'm more so a Juvio Grace fan, yo. Like, get Bam out of here, man. Bring back JVG.
I feel it.
But yeah, I would say like his major issues, not just in terms of the blog post, his major issues is that I think as a writer, he had a lot of big ideas. And in those big ideas, he was in the moment. And so he just told us about it, which is what I think you said as well. He told us about it before he had a full plan to bring it forth.
Yeah.
And then him doing that and him like derailing himself a lot and going in like all these different directions, having hype moments, but kind of like blase moments as well. I think that's what really hurts the series, especially when you go on like a year hiatus and then you come back and like people are like, what the fuck is this cat tower? Like,
You playing Mario Party? What's going on here?
exactly, yo. Like, I'm not trying to collect no stars, man. I'm trying to say Papa Jin Sung, yo. Like, we don't need this right now. But I think that would be the biggest issue, though. Okay. In all honesty, is that.
All right, we'll just go through the comments and then you say what you gotta say when you gotta say it. I think we're almost done with this part. I have one more to do actually. It's gonna be a long stream, baby. Okay, Phantom Boss says 2 things I would say SIU messed up. One, if he places something in a blog post, it should 100% be 100% canon. Interesting. Urek, for example, he connected to Phantom Minimum, giving off a lot of his greatest feats, which thing like that should be mentioned in the story. When necessary, like the Tower Haigh-Rankers ranking, I do like within the blog post he enhances and expands the world. That's fine if he wants to place fun facts as well. Like when the Rec charged into a ranking bureau to demand the #1 spot. Okay, I remember that. And if he wants to give a little more description of the character, make the blog post 100% fact is what I'm saying. Second is Bam's growth. All jokes aside with Bam's character-wise, he is going in a fine direction, though I would say in a series like Tower of God, he has way too much screen compared to other characters. Yeah. I mean, I never get mad when the main character has the most amount of screen time, but I almost find that he's scared to take the focus off of Bam for any long extended period of time, which can make him a bit tiresome. The part I actually truly have a problem with is his power progression. A regular aside, I honestly do believe SIU is focusing way too much on making Bam stronger enough to fight Jihad in the end. Then where it actually makes sense for him to be. My reasoning for that is he really didn't actually have that insane fire under his ass to get stronger until the last station. Then when he finally starts taking his training seriously, he's able to go against a top 100 Slayer in white. A few arcs later, I do believe he should reach the level of as a regular, not just anywhere as close as he did. It really bothers me. What SIU has stated both in the blog post and in the story, his talent isn't matchless, just above average in the tower. It started on the hidden floor for me with the final fight. It should that him alone was weaker than most the family heads when they were climbing, and way weaker than Urek. Then you factor his teammates also being regular. Bam should not be powering up this quickly. That is where I think SIU has truly messed up. So the first point he's basically saying is that he thinks that or he or she thinks they think that anything in the blog post should be canon. You guys agree with that? I don't necessarily agree with that. As long as he's honest about it. Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree because just like he just sprinkled in stuff and some of the stuff he said, like, which is kind of like, I mean, like whatever. Like it wasn't like necessarily anything to do with like the story. He was just kind of giving like information, like the Eurasia thing.
Okay.
So no, not necessarily. Because some of that stuff too is like when he wrote the blog post with the chapter, it's like there was no way to fit that information in sometimes. I just don't like it when it was a blog post that has something to do with what happened in the chapter. That's the problem.
What do you think? What you think, Milios?
As I said, I came up without reading the blog post until I thought I was done. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
The reason why I don't agree with that is the same reason why I don't agree that Destiny had goddamn cards to showcase the story for their goddamn game. I shouldn't have to go to a third source in order for me to get the story of your series. Your writing should speak for itself in your manhwa or manga. I shouldn't necessarily have to go out my way to go read this thing just because you want to write something on the side and have that be canon. Just write it inside the story and stick to it. At least that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, that's like thing. If you're gonna do blog posts, just do minor things. Just do like the I don't know what. Yeah, just do minor things. Don't do these big things in the story, because it either changes or it's something that people have to go out of the ways to find, like you said. So yeah.
Are you next to a fan?
Is it loud?
We gotta get you away from that
No.
fan, man.
I can definitely hear it. As long as you mute when you're not talking. Simmet!
Yeah, so TOG sucked dick. But anyways,
Man, this nigga didn't come here to say that.
Mark.
I most definitely came in here to say something.
Yeah, because Mark Donald said something about Machete. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with the fact that everything it said in the blog post should be canon,
Oh, okay.
because that's the point of the blog post, is to further elaborate. It's not just like some offshoot interview by some company. No, it's not him just talking to like a company or the fans. It's the whole point of the blog post is to further elaborate on what the fuck we saw. So yeah, if he's putting things in the blog post, they should 101% be canon. If he doesn't want them to be canon, then either, as you said, make specifically say that, or have a different column or whatever the fuck, a blog or some shit that's out of character. But the blog post, the entire point of the blog post is to further elaborate on what we saw because of the limited panel space and what may have you, so on and so forth. Or say panel numbers and shit.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Hold on.
fair point.
To counter that though, you said limited panels. There are a lot of them panels that don't belong in some of them chapters, and them joints be like about an hour long. So all I'm gonna say is, if you omit some of those panels that do be that are in some of those chapters, you can easily add in more context for the story. That's all I say about that. You don't need a blog post for that. Blog post should be just for fun facts, like a Bivery card or something like that.
That's completely different.
Fun facts.
Because that's completely different from what I'm talking about. I didn't say that we need a blog post, but I'm saying the point of the blog post that we have is to further elaborate. We don't need it, and it's not a necessity, but we have it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the point of it. That's what he established already. I agree that he can utilize his paneling, his pacing way better, absolutely. But at the end of the day, we have the blog post. What is the point of the blog post? What have the blog posts established for years now?
His health is bad. Oh, sorry. His wrist hurt. I'm sorry.
That he further elaborates and in further detail what we just read. So, and it's been that way for years. So yeah, everything that's said in the blog post should be canon. Not, oh, I said this last week, but now this week I'm saying something completely different. Oh, by the way, my foot hurt. Man, fuck you.
I mean, he reneging. I mean, what you mean?
I'm not exactly what I said. Fuck you.
Well, monetization gone.
Nah, we like 2 hours in. It's not going. It's not the first 30 minutes. We good.
I'm about to get a manual review. I'm joking. Yo, man, don't forget to like the video, turn notifications. My God, I appreciate it. Okay. Jushiro said, I don't know, bruh. I'm torn on this. 1 point, he gave us too much too soon. These blog posts have us stuck in an infinite Tsukiyomi. I'm out of it. Don't put me in there. I'm out. I'm free. I'm free. Trying to figure out the plot and getting disappointed because the actual narrative isn't living up to the hype we were presented with the early blog post. I don't know. I'm not like disappointed by the blog post. It's not making me hyper for things in that sense, but I do think he did a bit too much. Flip side, we actually have some context for what Bam and the other characters can and should be capable of, even though Bam OP. Technically, he seems weaker than other irregulars compared to the feats in the blog post. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Also, it gives us extra content to discuss and talk outside the main story, which is a lot of people love. That's fair. It would almost be better if he allowed someone else to tell a side story for other regulars. Examples, Anak and Dorsey, other princesses, going up the tower in a parallel as he did the main story. I guess maybe.
Man, no, he ain't even got to do that. See, now I'm interjecting. Cause no, you shouldn't have to have somebody else do that. He should be able to do that on a piece of paper called Tower of God. That's what he should be able to do that in.
I mean, he did that for the greater most part of the beginning of the second season.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. He can't do it now though.
I lost his sense of direction.
You was still locked up somewhere. She cold, no food, been locked up. I don't even know where the rest of our allies at. Rand's still in a bed somewhere. Like, come on, man.
Fair enough. Side story for the regulars going up the tower, or maybe a ranker, Kallavan, F.U.G. ranker. He could have that other person write their unique storylines and expound in the TOG universe using the side story instead of using the blog post. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but he can't. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with him letting somebody else write what he's doing. But then again, if he's the one who's still directing them, he's doing too much. He can barely handle just handling Tower of God with his health deteriorating and whatnot. So it's a lot to ask for. But is it Bam versus Bam, who wins? Bam always wins. CBL gang. But I'll say this: if this was gonna happen, the only way that I would like for it to see it is anyone's familiar with these two series. It'd have to be like or XXX Holic and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, where with the Witch and whatnot, we see what they're doing, and then with Sakura, Lee Shaoran, and those guys, and they're traveling, we see what they're doing, and at that point it intersects. That's how I'd have to go, but that's a really big ask. I think the blog post could work if we just utilize it a little bit better. Victor A said, yeah, he definitely said too much too early in the shows, but also say that he messed with the power scaling too much to the point it feels like his own universe is killing itself. Yeah, the power scaling has been in the mud, in my opinion. The best thing I could do with the power scaling, like when me and Vince are at this point too, I will look at a fight after it ends and try to make sense of it in hindsight. Okay.
Yep.
Kallavan's defense was too tough, and that's why, what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how I do it now. I don't try to understand it in the midst of it. It just hurts my head. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, don't make no sense to do that. We don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you know what's going on, please tell us. Please. Mm-hmm. Explain to us what's going on and how the people fight in, how their powers work, because we don't know.
Anything's possible with Shinsu.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
He put no limits on it, which I actually respect to some degree.
And the power of love.
Sunfire Pyro. I don't mind the... Shut up, side face. Why you say that?
Why did he say that?
I don't.
Why you say that? I don't mind the buffos. I just see them as additional trivia. It's nice to learn more about my favorite characters in advance, although I agree SIU did more than he can handle. Now he's overworked. He has so much to tell, but could have compressed them or divided the work somehow. Fair enough. Tony Scott has a few comments. I feel like he's that dude that's your friend or associate saying, I'm going to do this and that, and drop that shit. So now he filling in the blanks. He has a fan base and a green light. People like us, Haku of the Tube, shout out to my guy Haku, been caught up for so long, it's hard to impress us. We tired of foreshadowing. We need lore bombs. He also said, when you get used to something, you always want to fast forward. I love One Piece, but to be honest, I hate every new arc till years later on a reread. I'm always ready for the next arc midway through. TOG, I just want side characters to get shine because Bam is too godly to follow at the moment. I want Ran. I want Karaka face review. He said he want Ran. Who's that? I want motherfucking Rack battle feats. Rack? Fight? Yeah.
This man speaking my language. What's his name? Tony Scott. Speaking my language, man. Rack ain't never have a goddamn fight since workshop battle, for real.
Who was I talking to on Twitter about the rack and Hua Ryu thing? Was it Nova something? I can't remember his name. Ranger?
Man, Rack ain't got no feats. None of that. They had the perfect opportunity to get that man the what was that drink? The Spear of the Ancients or something, whatever that drink was called during the dog arc or whatever, yo.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it ain't his.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that. Eat some bananas and be funny, guy. So
Eat some rocks. That's what they told them.
eat some rocks, make a shield. Yeah, this is about to be 4 hours long. We haven't gone to the White getting his ass folded. We'll get there in a second. Are you hottest content alive? White gonna get eaten. I don't care what anyone says about the blog post. No longer relevant. I'm with you on that. I don't really take the blog post that seriously. I actually haven't read the last like 5. I was still reading them in secret. I'd read them like randomly after the fact, but I haven't even read them in like at least over a month. I think Erasure can be comparable in Shichu talent to Bam, but we haven't seen her as a regular. Togashi said, F it, Dragon Quest. Rock though season. White will soon be black and blue. White will soon not exist. I never knew niggas wasn't supporting Evankel though. She's literally a Scanner. I don't know, Scanner kind of more raw, but I hear you. I already spoke about the Evankel thing though earlier. Ice Lane said, I think that the decline in quality of the story, directly or indirectly, has been due to pressurization and interference by Naver. In the blog post written around the Name Hunt station, I remember him writing that he was receiving warnings from them to tone down the story. He was similarly stated recently that the situation is not the same it was 10 years ago. A lot could change in a decade, I guess, for a platform like Naver and whatnot, but again, for me to take that too seriously, because again, I have no real proper official statement to that degree. Like, you have to come out and be like, yo, they're effing with my story, and then I can go into that. But I haven't really heard a statement to that degree yet, so it's a lot of it's still kind of conjecture. But I hear you. I know I have gotten those type of impressions for some of his blog posts. Like, sometimes Naver's messing with him, and sometimes the fans, especially in Korea, they're like, we just want Bam, and we want Bam to do great things and never suffer. I feel it. Okay, my guy, Katan Patel says, yes, SIU was too ambitious in making the Tales user-verse and gave too much information early, which has now created a sort of expectation from the majority of the Tower God fan base to see this all come into fruition. Fair. Now, this creates a problem for SIU because most of his settings don't work when he has to pen it. If SIU is incapable of continuing after we finish the Tower of God, the characters like Phantom Minim were inserted into this verse for no reason because he himself cannot fit an access into the Tower story. There also comes issue of changing certain things that SIU hinted in the blog post, which I personally don't care about. I've never actually considered SIU's blog posts canonically accurate. But all in all, I don't think SIU was wrong for putting this much detail into the verse. He had a vision that many of us enjoyed, but he just didn't know in his early story writing days it would actually become an issue for him. With his physical condition, it eats away at his potential too. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Or what he just said? Because a lot of them, I think, are using the. I'm not saying he's not unhealthy, but I think that's a bit of a crutch. You're giving him a way out with that.
Yeah, copium.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Oh, he write bad because mental illness. Man,
Wait,
what? Jesus Christ.
That's what they saying. TOG bad now because mental illness, and I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, sure is.
I'm gonna say this.
It's scary, bro.
Man, whatever. I'm not hearing that from you.
Go ahead, milios.
I would say this. I can't get no cop outs because when I was reading and I was like in the workshop battle, everybody was just hyping up everything for me. It was like the level of foreshadowing and all this and that. And there was like, it makes you see how far ahead he was thinking about all of this. And in my mind, I'm like, he was thinking far ahead, huh? How y'all feeling now? So my whole thing is just that it's funny to see comments like that where people would like blame it on like his mental health or the fact that Neva is stepping in and all that, where you could clearly see like mid-season 2 that fans had input on like the way that the story was shaping and forming. It's just whether or not you accepted it or not. And now that it's gotten to the point where it completely derailed like the direction the story was going, people are like, it's this. Nah, man. Nah, man. You know what it was. So just let it be. At this point, I think I think that people just looking for excuses. It's bad because too many outside sources influenced the way that he thought about his own story and the story.
Yeah, and I think it's up to you as the creator to stand by your, your bearings and what you kind of want to do. I do think you shouldn't be surrounded with a bunch of yes people. Like, what if I did this and it's like stupid? Like, yeah, go ahead. Like, no, you need someone to kind of temper you and rein you in a little bit. What do I always say about Garth Ennis? Give him a good editor, that man can make a great story. You let him do whatever he wants, he creates The Boys. Not The Boys TV show. That is way more tempered. Talk about the comic book where he lost his fucking mind. Okay, he needs someone to put him on a leash. And some people work better that way. Now maybe SIU is one of them. I don't know. But yeah, we have 2 more comments. We have the exalted comment. I'll save for last. That was a good one. It's a long one, but all right. Reyes said, I think he definitely had the story thought out when he was writing 10 years ago, but the problem that TOG was popular and SIU cared about his popularity, and even in his blog posts, he constantly talked about the changing trends and how difficult it is to keep up with it. He definitely has changed the story for the sake of those trends. He said in season 1, many of the cast was planned to be killed off, but were not because of their popularity. Even in his dollar show, he was being sent warnings to tone down. A lot of people said that. Tone down the story, and Naver definitely a lot of control on TOG due to his popularity. So for me, he definitely planned to carry out the things he said in the blog post initially, but when it came for its execution, he had already read more, changed too much. Cop out. All right, exalted.
Sounds like the talk of losers to me.
Losers click here. Hey, you know what? DM? Shout out to DM. Exalted said, SIU has a long history of seeing characters a certain level of power and pulling back, especially with Bam. He wanted Bam to be a ranker as early as the workshop, setting up the strongest regular to get clapped, making him ranker tier since he would have been above the pinnacle of what regulars can do. Having him fight against Mule Love, forcing him to invest more and more effort to win. If he was holding back completely, he wouldn't be using techniques against Bam. He would just pull a Saitama, raising the power level of his regular punches, slaps, and kicks. Bam negates the Yeon family's flare fire, which makes rankers struggle to suppress and damage Urek. Don't underestimate rankers. All this points to SIU trying to boost Bam as quickly as possible before backtracking through the plot device that was Rafalejo, the Shadow Reaper guy, claiming he was, remember this guy, the Capra, B regular level. And
No, he was B.
No, you're right. In hindsight, he was not capping. In hindsight. But there's a part where he was capping, man. And overpowering Bam. On top of backtracking with the strongest regular and having Endorsee, I beat him instead. Now he's doing with White, Kallavan, Jinsung, Karaka, Ivanka, and the list goes on and on. They were obviously supposed to be top 100, easily. But now SIU is moving the goalposts and trying to insinuate that the top 30 or 40 rankers are so much more powerful than they are. When Jinsung was probably supposed to be 40 initially, especially considering his ties to the leader of F.U.G. F.U.G. I don't know if it's necessarily a problem of revealing too much too early. I think it's an issue of SIU trying to do certain things with Bam, trying to make him look cool and constantly moving the goalposts to make room for massive power-ups, which is still jarring because he just needed to use his time properly. 100 or 300 years later in the story before Bam doing this shit, and now he wants him to be top 100 rankers, but also leave room for more progress with the first Descendants. I love this comment. I don't disagree at all.
He packing him the fuck up. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I would agree with it, but I feel like this is probably going to be one of those people that's like, yo, blog posts matter. And if blog posts do matter, Eric climbed the tower in 50 years.
Yeah.
So he's saying 100. Bam is on pace to be in the fastest irregular to climb the tower.
Easily.
It's only been 12 years, and that man is already close to halfway there. Yep. So all I'm gonna say is You saying 100, but this his story. I ain't copping out. I don't do the cop outs.
Mm-hmm.
This is his story. The way you may see it might be, butt cheeks, but at the same time, you knew what it was. You knew what it was. If you was keeping track of like the years of like Bam's progression, like when he first got there, and then the 9 years to the point where the workshop battle happened, and then that incident when he got that first little bit of the thorn, and you started to see, okay, I see how they're about to make him stronger. They're about to give him a bunch of accessories. Because that's what they did. They gave him accessories to make him stronger.
Yep.
So in my opinion, I think that as people read, they just didn't pay attention to the warning signs before they came, and it hit them hard. But yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, I don't like the cop outs to some degree, but I think it was all well said. I think the point is well taken because I think what I really was exalted was that like SIU tried to change the levels of what it means to be a certain tier of ranker. But it's like the top 100 we thought was just like a certain type of thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, the top 300 are a different breed. And it's like then he introduced the blue hole, the unknown tier of strength in the tower, and I think those things were a way to help him kind of like create unknown tiers of power in the tower. That rhymes. I got bars, man. They signed me. I got bars. On top of see with the blue holes, he can pull any asshole who's some ancient person from out of nowhere and be like, yeah, you OD. Because I think he's already trivialized the strength of advanced rankers, and high rankers. Personally speaking, I think I think Bam is. I can't really think of any high ranker that Bam couldn't compete with at this point. I really couldn't.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yep. That's annoying too. Because like I said, that's what I said earlier. That's why I felt like hard magic system to a soft, just do whatever now.
Mm-hmm.
And like some people were cool with that, but
Yep.
for me, it's kind of
Okay.
question.
Go ahead.
Hold up. Question for y'all. Do y'all think SIU is incapable of building on already established characters?
You mean like the ones that he already tried to build up? Like
Yeah, the ones that he already got there, but he forgot about them and introduced a new character.
I don't know if incapable is the right word because I don't think he's incapable.
Unwilling or don't want.
He's not willing.
Doing it, or he's not doing it because I wish I remember who said this because I remember one time I was complaining about Doan and Cha and they're like, and I was bringing up characters like Hatsu and things like that. I think it's around the time where White was like, why are you swinging the sword like that? It's like you have a nice ass sword, you holding that shit like a garden tool. This is a murder weapon. If you're not ready to murder, this ain't the life for you, nigga. Move, type beat. I'm like, okay, is Hatsu's potential Storm Shaking to come? And I was kind of saying like I wasn't really feeling these new characters. Like, listen, just based off the fact that Cha is the first descendant of man and blah blah, he's way more interesting than Anak ever could have been. Blah blah. I'm like, wait, why? Why is it more interesting? Anak got a revenge storyline tied into the power of blood that you're not, and these princesses are not supposed to mate. I think that's equally, if not more interesting than what's happening there. So I think he could do it. It's a matter of does he with the way the story is going and where it's going, does it even matter? Because I think Rand should still be in the story, and Nak should be in the story, and Dorsey should be in the story. I think I should see Yuri, what she's doing. I would like to see Lore. I've given up. I've always held hope for Hatsu being able to defeat a direct descendant of the REA family at some point to prove his swordmanship skills.
It's kind of weird that his last showing made that feel like insurmountable.
It's not happening. It's not gonna happen. That time is dead. I'm sorry I brought it up.